The Secretary of State's office says a 20-year-old contract worker is now receiving death threats for simply doing his job. Gabe Sterling also calling out Republican Senators David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler. Hope Ford joins us live from the state capitol to break down another wild day in Georgia politics. Hope.
Yes, and both senators have since responded, along with several other elected officials who have now joined the conversation after Sterling's remarks went viral on social media. And 11 Alive political analysts tell me they are not surprised by the reaction.
It has to stop.
Gabriel Sterling with the Secretary of State's office calling for President Trump, Perdue, and Loeffler to condemn threats against election workers.
You have to be responsible. You have to be responsible in your rhetoric. You have to be responsible in your statements. You have to be responsible in your deeds.
Political analyst Andra Gillespie explained Sterling's comments revolve around inaccurate claims of voter fraud coupled with death threats.
He now has a 20-year-old staffer who is getting death threats because of conspiracy theories. And what he's seeing is Republican officials who are too afraid of the president to actually stand up and tell him the truth, which is that he lost the state of Georgia.
Mike Hassinger, another analyst, weighed in on Sterling and says the act was not at all political.
I've known Gabe Sterling for about 15 years, personally and professionally. He's always been calm, cool, collective. If people are actually threatening election workers with violence or intimidation or death threats or any of this other stuff, I think people need to know that.
Perdue and Loeffler both responded, condemning the threats, but both senators stuck by the messages they've pushed for weeks. Loeffler said she also condemned a lack of accountability in our election system process. Perdue was adamant he won't apologize for addressing the obvious issues with the way our state conducts its elections. Stacey Abrams tweeted, and Georgia's Attorney General also weighed in, condemning threats against election workers.
When I see other elected officials weighing in, one, it's an opportunity that I'm not surprised that they take, but this is also an opportunity for them to demonstrate leadership, that they're going to present a different way of responding to these issues.
Sterling, a conservative Republican, says he still supports the senators, but believes that asking elected officials to condemn threats of violence is a simple thing, a simple request to make. Now, the Trump campaign did respond a couple of hours ago, saying if any threats of violence did happen, then they condemn them fully.
All right. Thanks a lot, Hope, for the update there. By the way, the two Democrats running for Senate are also responding to statements from the Secretary of State's office. Democrat Jon Ossoff calling out Senators David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler today.
It's sad to see that rather than presenting some vision to the people in the midst of a crisis, when people need help and people are dying, that they're trying to undermine the election result.
Raphael Warnock releasing a statement tonight saying there is no place for violence in our democracy and Kelly Loeffler should stop, quote, dangerous attacks on our elections. Just in the last hour, folks, coming into the newsroom, President Trump retweeted 11 Alive Chief Investigator Brendan Keefe and a clip from this morning's news conference. President Trump once again touting massive voter fraud in Georgia without providing any evidence at all. And he said, quote, what is the Secretary of State and Governor Brian Kemp afraid of? Twitter flagged the tweet for misinformation. Yesterday, Governor Kemp responded to the attacks from President Trump, saying state law keeps him from interfering in the election. And you can read the full statement on the 11 Alive app.